Hey guys, Steve Welch here with your Tales of a Car Guy, my dual series on this and my Toyota channel. So, got a pretty interesting story for you guys here. So, I was driving to work actually. This was, God, probably 2 years ago, and I was, on the highway. It was about 70 miles an hour, so I was going, and I guess a pallet had fallen off of somebody's car. Was sitting there. Well, I didn't see it because I was following the car ahead of me, right? So the car ahead of me hit the pallet, and then I hit the residual of what they hit, right? And it was obviously bouncing around and stuff like that. So I'm driving, I'm doing my thing, right? And all of a sudden I hear it hit the bottom of the car. I didn't really think a whole lot about it. Stuff hits the bottom of your car all the time, right? Well, I was driving, so I was probably 15 miles from work at that point. I live a pretty good clip from work, but I was probably about 15 miles from work, and I kept driving, and it was all highway until I get to the off ramp, and then work's right there on the corner, obviously. So I get to that stoplight, and a car pulls up beside me. He's like, "Man, you're leaking gas," and I'm like, "Gas?" And he goes, "Yeah, out of the back of your car, you're leaking gas." And I'm, initially I was thinking somebody, might think that gas would be like the air conditioning condenser, where it drips from under the hood there. And he said, "No, it's the back of your car, you're leaking gas." And I'm like, crap. I didn't think of nothing that could be, leaking from back there other than gas. I thought he's probably right. And I thought about hitting that board, right? So I figured a fuel line or something that, I didn't realize why I was still running is the point, but I had just filled up my gas tank. So, had about a 12-gallon tank on that RAV4. It was a 12 RAV4. Had about a, somewhere around a 12-gallon tank or so. And what ended up happening is I just went around to our service department and pulled straight up to where the service department is, and came down to the side, and I ran and grabbed one of our techs there and said, "Hey, and, first obviously I checked in the back, and I was definitely leaking gas, but I grabbed one and I said, 'Hey, I got a gas leak here bad,' because it was coming out like a faucet was turned on, I don't want to say like full blast, but it was coming out in a solid trickle, maybe like a quarter-inch in diameter solid trickle, right? And I looked at my gas gauge when they said I was leaking gas, and my gas that I just filled up was not full anymore. It was down to about 3/4 of a tank. So I had dropped 4 gallons of gas in 15 miles. So that's pretty bad gas mileage. But so they came out with a catch can real quick and kind of looked underneath there, and they're like, we need to get on the lift now. So I pulled it right into where the shop was there, put it on a lift. They lifted it up, put another catch can under it, and we got a chance to look at it. And I'll show you some pictures of it, but we got a chance to look under it. And I guess what happened was the board had turned sideways maybe, and maybe got bound on the asphalt, the cement, whatever, and kind of stuck there, and it had nowhere to go. And I guess the weakest point was the fuel tank. So it broke through the fuel tank. It punctured a hole in it, which is kind of crazy because I'd never heard of that happening before. So we had to just let the thing drain. There wasn't really a different way to do it. So we just let it drain into the catch cans. Was able to catch most of the fuel, other than what I'd left on the road, obviously there, but we were able to catch most of the fuel, and it was just kind of a crazy thing. I had to order a new gas tank. It's not something they keep in stock. They don't expect to have to change gas tanks. But it was on the lift for about 2 days. I had to rent a car, and it was kind of crazy that a piece of wood that from a pallet could puncture my gas tank. Now, to kind of think that, you go, "Oh wow, it must be really thin." It's really not that thin, but if you think about it, you see like hurricanes that can throw pencils through trees, right? So it's really not inconceivable that with enough speed, enough pressure, that you could shoot a board through a piece of metal. I mean, you see it all the time in tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff like that, where you have things that go through metal. So just kind of what happened. I guess it was a perfect scenario, and definitely could have had something else happen, but punctured the fuel tank, and I was dripping gas the whole way to whole way to work, and I never knew it until somebody told me at a stoplight. But that was kind of crazy. But just that's something happened to me. Tales of a Car Guy. Steve Welch. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.